So the following is a really interesting interview, I think, with Mark Mapletoft, the England under-20s head coach, and Tom Burrow, the captain. You might remember Mark Mapletoft. I interviewed him before the England A game. Now, he coaches the under-20s, and he's just a fantastic coach, and the depth of answer he gives is absolutely amazing. So I recommend you watch the whole lot. I'll start with the questions I asked, and you can also see how much he really cares about coaching the under-20s. Also, have a listen to the answer he gives about how joined up the England pathways game plans are, but then when it goes to the seniors, slightly different. He was very diplomatic, but I think you can read between the lines. Tom Burrow, as well as captain, you can tell that he really cares, and he really cares about being captain for his country, which I absolutely love. I'm sure he's going to be a fantastic captain. He was on the sidelines watching on when England under-20s won the World Cup last year, and I'm sure he's going to want some of that, winning feeling himself. They've got a great chance of winning the under-20 Six Nations. They've got a fantastic team with the likes of Henry Pollock, we know, Junior Kapoko's playing in the back row in this game. So loads of good questions and loads of really interesting answers. Just let me know what you think about them in the comments down below, and I'll catch you next time. Enjoy the interview. Hi guys, nice to speak to you again. Mark, starting off with you, last time we spoke you were preparing England A team. How is it different? You touched on it a bit, coaching 18 and 19-year-olds compared to seniors. What might you do with them that you wouldn't do with a senior?
I think with the short turnaround, we're probably a little bit more explicit. I think with senior players, you tend to only have to say things once, twice, maybe, to pick things up quickly. But that's just that's pretty obvious. The also as well with the A's, you've got a week. You can't be messing around with mixed messages. It's look, we've got, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 training sessions, one of which might be like a walkthrough. We've got to get on with it. With the 20s, what you say, we've been working closely with this group for the last 2.5 years. We have a fairly consistent pathway game model which we follow through, which is has been well documented. That makes things easy because then the messages are very similar. So, and of course, there is a slight difference. The lads in the A's, they come in, they've got short turnaround, they want to get in and out and get the job done, put their hand up for playing in the seniors, and already there are people starting to feature. Without, I'm pretty sure it's gone out there, but Caden Murley's been selected for the weekend. He started in that game. Tom Willis started in that game, is now on the bench. So it's a great stepping stone. This is definitely a longer term development piece. So there are variations to it, but similarities in terms of getting messages across in a short space of time would probably be the most common one between both environments.
Oh, thanks. So you said the game model is similar across the age groups. Does that then go on into the seniors? Are you implementing things that Steve Borthwick wants you to implement with these guys, or does it stay within the age group?
No, listen, we have regular conversations with Steve, and Connor sort of sits in that space. We're under no obligation to copy what the first team do. It is a different space. These players are at the start of their rugby journey. Yes, some of them may get training opportunities up over the next, 12 to 18 months, in the same way that Henry has, and Chandler's progressed up, and Ash has had his opportunities as well. So there's a lot of similar language, but no, we're not really. We respect the fact that ultimately, Steve is in charge of England's senior team, and they do things their way. There are some similarities, but we're very much sort of free to help shape the development of the younger players. That they're just a well-rounded rugby athlete who can progress on to play Premiership, European, and international rugby, and play whatever style the head coach of England at the time would like to see them play.
Oh, thanks, Mark. That's a really interesting answer. Just a couple to you, Tom, before I go. You've obviously been working on a lot at Sale, etc. What would have England got you specifically working on, just to get an idea of more personal thing?
Yeah, so look, for me, my big step up now is to be more dominant in the collision. Big Brunner being out there, look, I am definitely progressing in that aspect, but look, it's a big challenge for me the way Sale play, the way England play. Hitting hard is a huge aspect of that, and that's a big work on for me. Look, I'm progressing in that, but you can never hit too hard, so that's a big one for me.
Okay, so the last one, then obviously you're going away to Ireland. Ireland have been consistently one of the best under-20 setups around. When you're looking around your changing room, what's giving you confidence about your team? Where do you see your strengths?
Yeah, look, Ireland are a great team throughout the age groups. It's a brilliant place to go and play. It'd be a great opportunity. I think the confidence in our group comes from the ownership we take day to day. Look, we build our process and our game model. It's not, don't just turn up and play. It comes throughout the weeks. So the confidence comes from within the group as a whole. Sort of touching that brotherhood and knowing that you've got sort of 22 other lads around you that are all on the same page with the same message and the same intent to go and win gives you the confidence you need to go out there and put your best foot forward.
Okay, thank you very much, and all the best of luck.
I've made some great games. Probably the semi-final wasn't quite as exciting as the matchup at Bath in the Six Nations last year. I wasn't involved with the 20s when we went over there to Cork a couple of years ago. So it's unusual. It's Thursday night. It's a bit different. But look, we know we're going in for a stern challenge away from home in any Six Nations game, and to start up with Ireland, with whom we've had some terrific battles in the last 2 or 3 years, it's probably as big a test as you'll get. We've been on a couple of tours already together within the pathway, noticeably South Africa as under 18s, and then again to Ireland under 18s. Tom was a brilliant captain of the standalone games in the under 19s in the spring last year. Came out to the World Cup, albeit didn't play. He needs to work out how he manages his illness better when he's away on tour. But great bloke, great leader, known him a long time. He'll do a fantastic job for us, leading by example. Speaks well, has the what's the word I'm looking for? Bravity within the group to hold the group to task when things aren't going so well, but equally, bright enough to understand that when things are going our way, how we try and hammer that home. Really excited for him. It's a brilliant, captain your country at any level at any time is an incredible honour.
It's massive, mate. I think it's sort of every kid's dream is to represent the country. To be able to captain the side is sort of a level above, and for me, it's everything I wanted. It's really special to play for England. I think the opportunity to do it with the group we've got is one that I probably want to experience again, and so I'm looking forward to the tests that it come with, but also just making memories and playing some good rugby along the way. I'd say I'm confident. I like to take authority, but also I feel I work well when I communicate with lads individually, checking up on boys and making sure we're all on the same page, and then going out and doing it. Look, you can't be a leader unless you put it in yourself. So you have to make sure your actions replicate your words, I think.
He's always been nice to me in the past. I love his mum in my case anyway, if I'm not nice to him. Look, Charlie, selection is and how strong people are is very subjective, isn't it? I appreciate you saying that. I'm sure the lads would appreciate that. I know most of the lads are probably starting out on their journeys. I've been around long enough to know that, teams look great on paper, but ultimately we don't play games on paper. We've got to play it out on the field. There's a lot of experience there. I think off the top of my head, 6 of the pack have got Premiership or top 14 experience, which is great, but they have to then apply it together cohesively on the field week to week in this environment. And that's a big challenge, isn't it? We've got some good players, got plenty of experience coming back from last year. We've got some new blood as well. But that's that cohesion that we probably demonstrated through the summer automatically changes as you enter a new year. New combinations of players, different captaincy, different coaching as well. That plays a factor. So look, looks great. Lots of experience on paper, and we've been probably acknowledging now for 2 or 3 years that maybe we haven't, in comparison to other nations like France, had as many players playing in our top league, and now we have, which is great, isn't it? So that shows that either they're getting the chance because they're good players, and they're putting their case forward for inclusion in that. And our job is to then, as Tom alluded to before, around then getting the opportunity to play with your peers at this level is they're able to sort of transfer some of that learning into an age group game, and it's both are huge arenas for the lads to develop as individuals. Well, it takes time, and we put a big onus on the players to do that. That's the environment that we can provide, even just in terms of the infrastructure here at our training base. We want the lads to get to know each other, to bond, to gel, because look, we can only instill so many messages. We have some very, very broad playing principles. We have a game model that kind of runs all the way through our pathway. But this isn't an environment where we're together daily, weekly, monthly, and so we've got to keep it simple. We've got to rely on the players to make decisions on the field, because that's what rugby is. We want to be there to guide them and steer them where necessary, but ultimately we've got to pass that ownership on to them, but at the same time make sure they're enjoying the experience as well, because I think if you're enjoying yourself, you're much more likely to perform to your best. Yes, no, look, brilliant opportunity for our young lads to get those training opportunities. And look, that's part of an integrated pathway, isn't it? The pathway doesn't have a start point or an end point. It's a continuous period of time in a person's development. And look, Steve made that decision to give him those training opportunities. I think it was brilliant. But look, if he's not playing for the England senior team this week, then if he's available, then he's technically still under 20. Well, I think it's a bit easier, Liam, if that's perceived to be an enjoyable, successful space, which we would always like to think that it's one where we provide a framework for the players to be in. We want them to be themselves. We want them to meet new friends, to make some lifelong acquaintances, and there's always enough churn every year for it to be slightly different. There's always new coaches. There's always new staff. There's always new players. It's the same venue, but we try and mix it up as much as we can. And look, the professional sport is, without preaching, is relentless, isn't it? You come in at probably 18 in a rugby terms, and you might finish at 33, 35, maybe 40 if you're someone like Mike Brown. He just keeps going and going and going. It's just relentless. It's weekly, monthly, yearly, and being able to do that is a great lesson for the lads around that space. And look, always tricky. I appreciate your question. When you've been to the top of the mountain, which we did last summer, was a brilliant achievement. But we've got to get back to the top of Everest again, haven't we? That's the challenge ahead for a new group of people. And one I'm really looking forward to. It's the enthusiasm, the energy that the lads bring into camp. Even keeps somebody in their 50s like me, keeps me going.
You mentioned staff changes there. Dave Walder's involved. What's he brought to the mix so far?
Well, he was very fortunate. A friend of mine actually said, because we were thinking around different combinations of coaches to come in and support us this year. And it's tricky. Normally we would look into the academies, but with Prem Cup on at the same time, that was difficult. Clubs are balancing their own resources, and somebody said, but what about Dave? I was like, what a brilliant idea. Dave's a great guy, very experienced. Been head coach at a couple of Premiership clubs. Brings a lot of experience to the table, and a good challenge for him as well. We talk a lot about challenging players and trying to get the most out of them, but actually it's quite eye-opening for Dave in terms of where lads of this age are at in their development, and how he's got to sort of adapt his coaching philosophy, styles, etc. to that level, which is different. It is different to coaching a group of senior players. But it was a great acquisition for us, and really enjoyed his company, enjoyed his challenge, and actually sort of taken a little bit of pressure off me from an attack perspective as well, which is good.
So I was there in Cape Town, sat in the stands watching the boys put an excellent performance in. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. So adding to the brotherhood, I think, look, Toffee spoken, it's a really close group. A lot of us have known each other for probably 2-3 years, and the fresh blood, look, they've added sort of great value to the group. I think adding sort of a bit of leadership and a bit of fun along the way is helping this group together. I think there's enough charisma in the team. So for me, it's just about sort of directing that and keeping us on track. I think, look, the boys want to go and do it again. So there's not too much for me to do, really. There's a lot of boys that like a laugh away from training. One that springs to mind, Junior Kapoka, that we all know. Junior's been playing a lot, and he likes to say his piece, but mate, he backs it up on the pitch. He backs it up with his performances. He's always got something to say. You could say that.